What it do, cucks? It's your boy, the Hater. Hater on the road! We gotta stop meeting like this, guys. The Hater's on the road a lot more often than he likes to think, so the Hater needs like some sort of headset or some sort of microphone or hybrid to do these on-the-road videos, so they have that little flair that I want to give them. So if you have any suggestions about what headset to buy or anything like that, let your boy know, you know what I mean? Now, that being said, today's video is going to be about something very, very, very important, right? The role of Triple H. Now, I want to preface this by saying that a bunch of new people that have subscribed to the Hater's channel, the Hater already doesn't like a lot of them, right? A lot of these people are like, you're a Triple H bootlicker, you never talk about him. Motherfuck, all right? I'm the first guy, literally, ever, to say that Triple H as a booker is a terrible decision. As far as I know, I'm the first motherfucker to ever point that out. So this logic that I am a Triple H bootlegger is completely misaligned. I am the opposite. I will say it once more. I'm a Vince McMahon kind of guy, motherfuckers. I am not a Triple H kind of guy. And that's why I wanted to double down on that and make this video. I was thinking earlier today. I was thinking, Hater. And I'm talking to myself up in this bitch. I'm like, Hater, what the fuck does Triple H even do? It was a passing thought. But then I explored it some more. And I couldn't come up with an answer. This is very rare. The Hater has an answer to almost all of his internal thoughts, including other wrestling-related thoughts, but not this one. Fundamentally, I could not pinpoint what Triple H, and certainly I could never pinpoint what Lee Fitting does in the WWE. Now, with that being said, obviously, there are things that Triple H does on the business end of things, right? Nobody cares about any of that. We are not privy to those things. If we knew what they were, we could judge them accordingly. And if we must, then we must conclude he's not very good at that either, because let's be real, Fox dropped their ass. They dropped SmackDown, so there you have it. So Triple H presumably does some things backstage and some business-related things, right? But we're talking about him as a booker, and more importantly, as a showrunner. And arguably, this is arguable, but as the face of the operation as we speak, right? Triple H is, for better or for worse, obviously for worse, the Dana White of the WWE. There is no way around this, right? He is him. But Dana White does a lot of things, right? Dana White is very transparent about what he does. And furthermore, Dana White doesn't have to actually book a show, right? Dana White has to conceptualize a show. So if we look at what Dana White did, some of these things are not very popular, like Power Slap, right? It's another venture, I should say, an adventure of Dana White. And he's out there trying to make it a thing. I personally find Power Slap to be exhilarating, but that's just me, you know what I'm saying? Now, with all that being said, we find ourselves in a situation where we see many things that Dana White does, but Triple H's role in the WWE must necessarily involve some form, one way or another, of actually running the show. He is the executive producer, after all, along with Lee Fitting, the mysterious and enigmatic Lee Fitting. Now, Triple H, you can attribute to him some of the decisions, right? Maybe all of the decisions. But the irony is that we have a situation where the Hater doesn't like anything that Triple H has done, number one. And number two, the things that he has done are objectively very, very low in quantity, as well as quality, if I might say so myself. But in quantity, right? There have not been many things that Triple H has done that merit any kind of sympathy or any kind of congratulations, right? In other words, what has Triple H done differently than any jobber would do, right? If you gave the WWE to Tony Khan, it would probably look a lot like it does now, right? Triple H must answer for the mistakes that he's making. Now, this is the unaccountability era, which means that Triple H does not have to answer. He can just pretend that everything's good and gaslight the audience. But the question still remains, what did he do, right? Cody Rhodes' push, obviously, started during the Vince McMahon era, right? The Triple H era began when Cody Rhodes won. which was probably going to be the end result if Vince were champion. The only thing that can be attributed to Triple H specifically, right, and even this we don't know, maybe Vince wanted this as well, is the rise of Gunther. And when I say rise, I mean the complete middling and mediocre slight push that Gunther got into the upper mid-card, right? And when I say the upper mid-card, of course I mean the mid-card, but, you know, like they're presenting the World Heavyweight title as being more important than the Intercontinental title, so let's go along with that for a while, right? Now, in this situation, Gunther, the ultimate cuck, Gunther is responsible for everything that, you know, he did, and Triple H must also take some responsibility for the push, right? Triple H cannot take responsibility for example, the matches Gunther has, but obviously he liked them, he enjoyed Gunther's run, otherwise he would have cut it short, right? Triple H is just coasting on the job. He has made one decision, and that is Gunther. Now, yeah, you can argue, oh, well, the New Day are tag team champions, but nobody cares about that, right? Like, nobody cares about who's tag team champion. I don't think the New Day cares either. They're just there getting their final paychecks before this shit hits the fan, right? Kofi's going to retire probably sooner rather than later. Xavier's then going to become a jobber. Like, we all know what's going to happen. If Xavier sticks around after Kofi, he's going to have a singles run that's going to end with him being a jobber, right? But he's going to be like in Apollo Crews territory. So, we have to consider the big-time things that Triple H has done. Well, this year's WrestleMania, I mean, I don't even know anymore because I'm actually genuinely confused as to who was responsible for this trash. But The Rock claims that it was his idea, right? He also alludes that it might have been the idea of Ari Emanuel, right? Triple H doesn't claim anything. Triple H does not claim that it's his idea or The Rock's idea or anything. He just kind of sits there and talks about it. So, I'm not sure that we can attribute this to Triple H. But I'm also not sure if that matters. On one hand, if it's not attributable to Triple H, then shame on Triple H for not doing anything for WrestleMania. And on the other hand, of course, if it is attributable to Triple H and not The Rock or Ari Emanuel, which I highly doubt Ari Emanuel even watches this shit. Like, if you go to Ari Emanuel, you're like, who's this guy? And you show a picture of Roman Reigns, he'll be like, I don't know, Jimmy Uso? He'll probably just guess wrong, you know? So, either way, right? If Triple H didn't make the decision, shame on him. And if he made the decision, you know, I'm talking about the Travis Scott situation and the overall Cena title win. If he made it, then shame on him for it being shitty. You see what I'm saying? The program needs to be good, right? We need to have the wrestling and the program attached to it be good, right? They've taken the Triple H road, as I'm going to start calling it now. The cheap road. The easy way out. They've basically said, motherfucks, that John Cena is going to be the champion, but he's going to act exactly like Cena did when he was a face in terms of his mannerisms, his presence, his music, everything, all that shit, right? And ironically, or perhaps coincidentally might be a better word, Triple H has made it such that even though Cena is heel, the way that he's turned heel means that Cena, whether you like it or not, Cena is going to get the same reaction. He's going to get, let's go Cena, Cena sucks. Now, it's not like the fans flipped, right? It's not like the fans that would used to chant, let's go Cena, are now chanting Cena sucks and vice versa. It's the same people, right? The people that have always liked and respected Cena continue to chant let's go Cena, and the people that have hated him for a long time chant Cena sucks, right? Now, with that being said, you know, if the reaction of the crowd is not going to change, then I think it's fair to say that that booking decision was an error, right? It had no bearing on the storyline, and it had no bearing on the crowd, right? The things are exactly as they were before. Cena could have won the title as a face, and he could cut face promos instead of heel promos, and he would get the same reaction, right? The only difference would be instead of beating R-Truth up, he would have an honorable match with R-Truth. And since that match was shit, it doesn't matter if the honorable match would also be shit, right? That's the idea here. all of this falls on Triple H. So, in summary, we have two specific things that we can attribute to Triple H that have varying levels of relevance, but that are, at the very least, quasi-relevant, right? The Cena heel turn and WrestleMania win, as well as Gunther's title run. Now, Gunther's title run has been a disaster, everybody knows. It's now even worse because Jey Uso has it, arguably. And then, I guess you can also attribute to him Jey Uso. Now, while I like Jey Uso, and I think he was a good Royal Rumble winner, I do not like him as being as the champion, especially being champion this long. I automatically assumed that Jey Uso would be dropping it the night after WrestleMania, or at maximum at the next pay-per-view. But yet he's still champion. Now, for better or for worse, we could do way worse than Jey Uso. Let's not get it twisted, right? Like, there's a lot worse wrestlers than Jey Uso in terms of like their marketability and their excitement. But that doesn't mean anything. All that means is that Triple H has also failed at creating new wrestlers. That's another thing that I want to talk about and that I'm going to end with, right? The Triple H experiment didn't start at WrestleMania 41 in its totality, right? It started out in NXT. And NXT was supposed to be good, right? NXT was supposed to be a better than WWE, some people would say, right? Remember when Triple H, as the NXT, like, whatever, headmaster, whatever the fuck he was, as the guy that ran NXT, did that NXT invasion where NXT did, like, way better than, like, Raw and SmackDown overall? Well, that's a problem, right? Because everyone there sucked, and most of those people aren't even in the company anymore. And number two, by doing that, Triple H played his cards, right? None of the people that he signed to NXT, that he signed, I'm saying, right, have become stars, right? It's not like there's someone that Triple H was like, we gotta sign this guy, and this guy then became a star. Triple H signed people like Finn Balor, Sami Zayn, Kaki Owens, right? And all of these guys, I think it's generous to say that they've all become complete middles, right? Now, you know, some people can say they're jobbers, like I think they're jobbers personally, right? But I don't think anybody can really say that Finn Balor is a main eventer, right? I think everybody knows that that's not the case. So with all that being said, we find ourselves exactly where we started. Needing guidance and needing better wrestling. So for all of those that think that Triple H is doing a good job, and for the 2 or 3 people that think that I'm a Triple H bootlicker, well, you can bet your ass that I don't like this motherfucker. Triple H, you can bet your hat, motherfucks, that Triple H has ruined the WWE further, and that Triple H, if things go the way they do, right, the good news, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but the good news is that Triple H can be replaced, right? TKO can just replace him. He has no authority to be there unless they want him there. So, that's a possibility, but the truth is, Triple H has ruined wrestling. You can bet your hat that it's going to get worse. Cuckolds.